Hi guys, welcome to the Don't Talk to Me podcast. I'm Brad. I'm joined by
Ashlyn?
and
I'm Venus.
hi. Today we're going to be talking about a few things. We're premiering a new segment we like to call Good News Week that V will be leading today. V, would you like to jump us into it?
Yes, so I'm someone that craves structure, so I'm forcing my structure on Brad and Ashlyn in our podcast now. So
Look, I mean, it's for the best.
it is. Keeps us on track. We're going to go off track anyway, but you know, we've got a track to come back
It's
to.
kind of our thing, yeah.
So we wanted to start doing stuff that was a bit more positive. We rant a lot.
Well,
Like a
speak
lot.
for yourself. You wanted to be more positive.
I wanted to be more positive. All about that positivity this week. A bit of
Oh my god, she's paused.
I'm paused. I'm a point of sale. So
Yes, that's what I meant.
So to kick off the positivity, we're going to talk about something good that's happened to us or something that we're excited about, and just spread some happy ass vibes to you listening at home, all two of you. So
a few of you now that we got a shout out on that stream. Thanks, that person.
Thank you, Clint. If you're listening to this, thank you so much. Please check out our friend Haggard Clint on Twitch. Much appreciated for his shout out in today's stream. So my good week, other than Clint being a magical human, my dog now watches Twitch. So
how does that work?
I don't know, but the last few days when I've been watching streams, my dog has sat at my desk, tried to hump me, which is his version of saying, "Mummy, please pick me up." He hasn't actually realized that that's what he wants when he comes to hump me, but yeah.
So you've realized what he wants.
I've realized this. So he comes, humps, tries to hump me. I pick him up. He sits on my lap, and he sits and stares intently at what's happening on the computer screen.
Nice.
I was watching one with Ray J the other day, and she had her miniature dachshund Pablo on stream, and my dog thought it was the best shit ever. He started barking at the screen and was like very excited.
He either loved it or just absolutely hated it.
Yeah, because he jumped off my lap and then kind of went around to try and find the dog behind the computer screen, not realizing that it was very sad but very cute.
I was watching a Funhouse stream the other day on the TV in the lounge, and Rex was sitting with me because he doesn't watch TV though. I don't think he's quite that smart. And then their dog child Benson came on screen and started whining, and then Rex got really protective and upset, and he was like looking for the dog that was crying.
Oh, bless him.
I know, he's really lovely. But he kept looking, because it's like right next to a huge window, he went and like smushed his face up against the window and was like looking for this dog and staring. Yeah, it was a good time. But I had to turn it off because he was getting so upset, and Benson would not stop whining. I had to turn off the stream I was watching because got upset.
Bless you, Rex. Yeah. Your dog is such a big little schmush.
He's a sweet boy. He's a sweet boy.
Cute. All right. Who wants to share their good news next?
I mean, Ash's news is pretty exciting.
I mean, it is pretty exciting. This is what I came to Australia for. I got to cuddle a baby fox.
Do they not have foxes in New Zealand?
No, we don't have foxes in New Zealand.
I mean, you guys also don't have snakes, do you?
Nope.
Or many spiders.
Nope.
They do have those big fuck off mosquitoes, though.
Yes. I mean,
crane flies.
We also have those, so.
Do we have crane flies here?
No, not the exact. Like, we have big fuck off mosquitoes, but not crane flies.
Yeah.
Do you mean the ones that don't actually eat you? They just fly around and look like mosquitoes?
Yeah, they're just big and they're really loud.
Right. Yeah, they don't.
They're terrifying.
They just.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so my news this week was that I had quite a bad week. As you'll hear later in the day.
Later in the day, week, Bradley. Come on.
I'm getting there. My good news week is that I started my medication again, so I'll be hopefully less depressed by this time in a month when it starts working.
Let's just have some snaps for medication.
Yeah.
That's good.
But on top of that, speaking of self-care, I made a lasagna today. It took me 2 hours to make. It had red wine and it had like onion and garlic and like a million different spices. It was really good.
Ooh,
And
did you do it
Harry
with
has
it?
eaten the entire pan.
Did you do it with cheese sauce? Are we talking like deluxe
Yes.
level?
Yeah, I made a white sauce.
Yum.
I made a white sauce, a white sauce with mozzarella and tasty and parmesan. So yeah, it was really good. Harrison has eaten like 3 servings of it. Yeah,
I'm so fucking
yeah.
jealous.
Yeah, and like the red wine complements it so. So I grew up thinking I didn't like lasagna, but it just turns out that I don't like my mum's lasagna.
Yeah, that's true.
Oh my god, the
mm,
shade.
Yeah, sorry,
It's fucking
Mum.
true. So
Yeah.
many people don't know, like, because I'm like Garfield. I'm a fucking slut for lasagna.
Yeah.
Like, but so many people make it wrong,
Mm.
just absolutely wrong.
Like sometimes there's like either too much, like I think it's the oregano. Some people go really, really heavy on it, and then it just tastes like an Italian bread.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I
I'm
think
not
as well,
into it.
sometimes people just like, so there's what people don't realize is they'll go to the shops. This is okay, WOG education time. So people will go to the shops and they will buy the mixed herbs and the Italian herbs. But the thing is, the herb blend changes between brands. So
Yes.
when you're making spag bog, if you are using a different brand to what you're used to, you're going to completely change the taste. And often, particularly if you're using like I forget what the Woolies brand is. It's like green packaging. Not sponsoring us this week. Those ones you have to use mixed herbs and Italian herbs, otherwise you're not going to get the mix properly. And some people don't either use too much onion or not enough, and they don't get the ratio with the garlic right.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But once you get that shit done,
the real deal,
issues.
like
yeah, I just did 1 large onion and like 2. I think it was 2 crushed cloves.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm into it.
I just hate a bland lasagna, you know?
Yeah, me too.
Bland lasagne.
We ran out of like sauce for the very top layer. You know how you put like a bit of sauce or a bit of like bechamel at the very top.
Yeah.
Just so it doesn't get that like hard crispy grossness on the very top, which I like.
I like the hard crispy grossness. Yes.
Yeah.
So do I.
Yeah. It's like chips. But Harry does not like it, so I had to. And I also use egg pasta. I'm not sure if anybody like because a lot of people I see use different kinds of pasta. No. Yeah, it's dry pasta, which is not as good as wet. Obviously, not as good as like hand rolled. Oh my god, my friend Kelsey made me hand rolled pasta once, and I was like, oh, I'm gonna come. And
so good.
Yeah, it was just really good. I had a really good time. It's a very, very good day. And the red wine. I'm not a wine person by any means, but I was very much a wine person today.
It's good in food.
Now I'm fucking
my
hungry.
favorite.
Thanks, Gus.
Well, I think we did well. Good news week 1. We talked about pasta. We're done. We've peaked.
It's true. It's all downhill from here. I'll see you at the funeral.
Rest in peace.
Yeah.
Speaking of resting in peace and all things spooky,
so we're just gonna skip Pokemon. Cool.
We're gonna skip Look, we were gonna talk about Pokemon, but we're gonna talk about Charizard, and I found out that apparently everyone in this podcast is fucking great, and they're not basic bitches because none of our favorite Pokemon are Charizard.
But weirdly enough, Venus and I's favorite Pokemon is Bulbasaur, and he's the very, very, very first on the Pokédex. Like maybe that's the most basic.
Number 1, bitch.
Possibly.
Yeah.
It's like you just Googled Pokemon and you were like,
yeah, exactly.
I watch Pokemon Bulbasaur, the first one that comes up.
I love it when he used Vine Whip on that Oddish.
I mean,
yeah.
That's why I like Bulbasaur. It's just, it's my kid.
I think it's the vines.
It's the whips.
I'm into it. Yeah. I used to, when I was a kid, sorry, tangent. When I was a kid, did you guys ever pretend Pokemon? Did you guys ever play Pokemon, but like you were too poor, so you like imaginary play Pokemon?
No, but I did that with Saddle Club.
Hell yeah. Oh my god, you pretended to be a horse and now you look like one.
Crazy.
I used to pretend to be Bulbasaur all the time, and I used to get let me finish this. I used to get skipping ropes, and I used to whip my friends with them all the time, and I'd like wrap them around my friends as they were running, and they'd fall.
Oh,
And I was like,
bet they
ha
loved it.
ha, Bulbasaur. No, they did, because we were all playing Pokemon, and they would be like, oh my god, I used flamethrower on you, and I'm like, I have like an actual weapon, and I'm like whipping them, and they're like, oh my god, this is so much fun. Maybe that's where I got my kick.
And that was the
thinking about
first
it.
time Brad
Yeah.
became a daddy.
Yeah.
I'm surprised you're not a
Chairman with
Squirtle.
exciting, come on. Well, I am sometimes.
I had the Pokédex, like when they actually brought out the red,
yes,
like
yes, so did I. The one
digital
with the yellow
calculator.
buttons.
Fucking
Yes. Yeah.
that, and I had the Ash hat, and like I used to like run around like, ooh, I'm Ash Ketchup with my
Is
sweet
that why?
Pokédex.
Is that yeah? I mean, well, you are Ash, and all the time you've been Ash, so you are
This is
Ash
fair,
before
yeah.
Ash Ketchum.
Exactly.
Yeah,
OG.
the OG Ash.
Out of curiosity, what's your favorite Pokemon? Since we're okay, so basically we're on it now. So they showed some of the what's it called? IMAX, the IMAX Pokemon, Gigamax.
Gigamax.
Yeah.
Oh, is there more
IMAX
new
Pokemon?
ones?
Yeah.
Oh,
So
fuck.
they
Gigamax is like the ones that are projected. They're like the big giant ones.
yeah,
Jesus.
you give them a stone, you get them stoned, and they become really big and beefy.
Wow,
So
it's been too long. I'm like, where is the original 101 Pokemon in my
So-
Pokédex?
101.
You
What?
know how many there were? 101? Wasn't that the like?
That's
of Dalmatians,
Dalmatians.
How many was the original?
152 with Mew.
Yeah,
Yeah.
That's Dalmatians, babes.
Wait, 152, 151 with Mewtwo.
I think it was 151.
Yeah,
You fucking
152
don't
with
know either. Shut your face. Craig is furiously sign languaging me 150. He's like
150.
shaking the van. He's like, it's fucking 150, you
No,
bitch!
151 with Mewtwo then.
150
So-
and
Yeah.
151 with me. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, Mewtwo. Yeah. Okay, so
I think Craig's gonna
Pokemon-
leave me.
I mean,
Oh my god. I mean, you said 101, so.
Shut your face. It's been a long ass day.
My favorite Pokemon is Cruella.
It's the black and white one.
Yeah. I loved when Team Rocket made that fur coat out of Pikachu skin. Yeah, it was my favorite part.
That was
Anyways,
fucking
what do you
weird.
say, B?
So Pokemon Sword, Pokemon Shield, there was Charizard shown. He wasn't black and blue, which I'm really happy about because ever since X and Y came out and Pokemon turned into Digimon, I have had an issue with the black and blue Charizard. Just shut me off. So I'm really happy. This one's the right color. Not that we discriminate based on color.
Wow, you see color? Oh my
Jesus.
god.
See color.
Are we gonna have to tell you not to say the N-word like your friend?
Oh god, we're gonna touch on that later. That's
Spicy.
I'm having to Google Pokemon Shield because I'm just like, it's what? Oh, it's on the Switch. Okay.
Yeah.
And it's
What
on the
is that thing on
Switch.
the cover of it?
It's
what is that?
Pokemon with
No,
a sword in
well,
its mouth or
yeah.
a shield.
I kind of assumed it was a Pokemon, but what one? Like what?
Oh,
Is
it's
it?
probably new.
It's like
there's new like new ones every time.
it's
are
like
you talking
one
about, like, the-
terrifying looking wolf thing.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. So they're both wolves. One's a shield wolf and one's a sword wolf.
Well, it's actually called Ashlyn, funnily enough. Ashlyn Wolf. New Pokemon.
Oh my god! They named a
Crazy
Pokemon
good,
after
but,
me.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
Oh my god!
Alright.
Well, of course they would.
I mean, there's been way too many like lions. Can we just? Because there's like
Yeah.
Solgow and like how many other lions has there been?
There's too many fucking lions, but not enough domestic house cat Pokemon. It shoots me off.
Okay, I would not say there's not enough. There's like Skitty and Meowth and Persian and
Not enough cats.
I mean, they hit it on the head with Meowth. They're like, we're done.
yeah,
yeah,
pretty
we're
much.
done.
You can't get
But
any sassier.
Yeah.
Oh my
That
god!
cat, isn't that cat meant to be like the begging Chinese cats with the moving
The lucky
paw and
cats.
the-
Yeah.
Yes,
lucky
yes,
cats.
yes. I don't know if I ever told you guys this, but when I was little, when they had the little Pokemon statues, they had these ones that you'd press and it would make the noise. Like you'd get the Pikachu and it'd be like Pikachu, you know, like
Mm,
this
yeah.
little thing. So I got a Meowth one and I was like, this is awesome. It didn't talk
Fucking
in English like I fucking thought it would. It talked in Japanese, and I didn't know what it was
Hell yeah.
saying. And I was like,
This is bullshit.
what the fuck? I wanted English speaking fucking sassy Meowth, and I got Japanese speaking probably sassy Meowth, but I have no idea
Yeah.
what it said. 10-year-old me was like, excuse me?
10-year-old Brad would have been fucking all about that shit.
I would have
yeah.
been all about that shit. Well, I did do like 7 years of Japanese at that point, so I probably
Yeah,
been
true.
like would have been like fine.
You
Now
probably would have been like, oh, I know
like,
exactly what it's saying.
yeah. I would know if it was saying hi or I'm a boy, because those are the only words I knew in Japanese. I did 6 or 7 years of Japanese, and I retained hi, I'm a boy,
Perfect.
Brad. That's it.
Perfect. It's
And
all in
senpai.
there. You're sorted.
Senpai and water, Mizu. I know the alphabet. I can tell you all the vowels in the alphabet. I can't tell you what they mean. I cannot tell you.
You're
I can
sorted.
tell you how they sound. Yeah, Japanese is good because there's no like trick vowels.
Yeah.
Like every single word is like ka, ki, ku. Like it's 3 separate vowels that together mean something. Whereas in English,
Yeah.
like 3 different vowels can be a completely different word.
Oh, English is just a shit show. Yeah.
I remember
It's a shit show.
my sister had like a teacher. I probably shouldn't be sharing this. It's not my story, but fuck it. Sorry, Brooke. So I remember as a teacher, she had one of her parents come up to her and they're like, look, my kid's really struggling with reading. Like, they're trying to sound out these words and they're not understanding it. What do I do? And my sister's like, of course I don't fucking understand it. Like, none of this makes sense. Like, you have true, you have though, you have trough. They all have an O-U-G-H at the end. They all sound different and there is absolutely no way to tell.
There's no differentiating.
It's a wonder we can all speak at all. Seriously.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, speak for yourself. I fuck up quite a bit.
Yeah, we can't English.
I'm writing and V's reading it, and she's like, "Wow, you really don't know how to punctuate."
Well, I was going to say, just in the podcast alone, I don't think we've had a single week where one of us hasn't gone because we've
yeah. I mean, I think I accidentally said a slur one time that I had to like. I was trying to say, what was I trying? Oh, I was trying to say, I can't say dew, like dewy, yeah, dewy. Dewy. Yeah.
With
the Dewey Decibel system.
Yeah, exactly, like Dewey. But I keep saying Jewy, which is fine because I'm Jewish, but many others might think that's quite bad. But I was like, oh, that looks very Jewy. I was like, wait a minute. Wait a minute.
Not what you meant.
Yeah. Everything's not as it seems.
All right, we're going to move on because we've been crapping on for far too long of keeping us on track. Let's go. So I had a really nice segue before about RIP, and I was going to talk about the Overwatch and the Apex Halloween events, but that's fucked up now. So we're just going to straight talk about the Overwatch and Apex Halloween.
Yes.
So I really like Drunkenstein. I really like Drunkenstein's Revenge. I like the game mode. And we forced Ashlyn to start playing Overwatch, so we're gonna force her to play some.
I have enjoyed it actually. It's a lot different to Apex.
Yes, it's very different.
I don't know. It's
different but similar. There's like certain parts that are easily transmissible.
The weapon system obviously is more streamlined because your weapon and your abilities are based kind of like Apex in that the character you have has certain abilities, but then your weapon is also character specific in Overwatch, which is I like because I can't keep track of anything. So in Apex, I'm like, okay, I'm going to memorize the 2 guns that I like, and if I don't get any other guns.
Yeah, that's why I'm literally playing the only character, and her name is Ash, because...
Yeah.
Did not do that on purpose. We did do the fucking random character one. Thanks, guys. And I found that she was sort of the semi-easiest, and I also like her because she's awesome and badass. So.
Really? I find her so difficult.
She's finicky, which is interesting. Because everyone who joined us while Ashlyn and we were playing was like, really? This is your first few games that you're playing Ash? Jesus Christ.
They're like, this bitch, fucking get out of here.
I was judging you as well. I was putting the same judgment on you. I was like, why are you playing Ash?
Thanks,
so, I'm going to be your name.
I'll say, you know how your username on there is like Shadowcat, right? Shadow Fox, right. Sorry. Someone... You know the people we were playing with, the 2 guys that Venus introduced us to? One of them asked if you were a furry.
That's great.
I was like,
maybe.
No, I don't think so. She kind of thinks aesthetic.
Poor boy. He's a fairy just wanting to find other fairies, and you misled him.
He needs other fairies, babe. He needs other fairies.
I'm
And he's
sorry.
Western Australia, so if you were a
Yeah.
furry, hit him up.
Fuck.
Any furries in Western Australia, hit me up. And I'll
Yeah. We'll invite you
forward
to
your
the
address.
We'll invite you to the Discord. We'll
Yeah.
matchmake you. You know, we'll introduce you
Exactly.
guys as your first soners. It'll be beautiful.
We'll give you
God.
a channel for you guys to yiff. It'll be fine.
I don't know what yiffing is. We've gone too far into
Yeah,
the
we've gone
fairiness,
far.
but I don't know.
You don't
Pull
need
it
to
back.
know. You don't want to know.
Pull it back. So the Overwatch Halloween skins
yes.
were super cute.
Yes.
They are very cute. They're
Like-
much better than the Apex ones.
Well, yeah.
Just being honest, yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Apex the
Mainly
only good
because
skins.
Pathfinder
Yeah.
doesn't have one,
Yeah.
which I was sad about.
I've already paid for Overwatch loot boxes this event, and it gets me every time. That's why I had to stop playing. It gets me every time because I have FOMO with these skins because you have to wait a whole year. You know, it sucks.
Yeah.
But Apex, none of the skins were like, "Oh, I need this."
I
need
really
this.
liked the Bloodhound one with the jack-o'-lantern head, but I never play Bloodhound. Like,
No, God, no.
he's not even my third choice, you know what I mean? So I'm like, nah,
He's like your
No
pretty much
point.
last choice, isn't he?
pretty much, yeah.
No, Gibby's usually your last choice.
Yeah.
Or
I
even
would
Mirage.
probably-
You don't play Mirage.
No, yeah, I don't play Mirage very often.
Or Octane.
I'd go Octane before I'd go Bloodhound.
Bloodhound. Yeah.
I think.
Well, I mean, Crypto does like way better than Bloodhound.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
How are you
which is-
guys liking crypto? We haven't talked about
I
crypto on the
really enjoy-
podcast.
Crypto's my new main. Just because I like being a bit back from the battle, as Ashlyn will know. I like not.
yeah. I like
being
Brad
right
being
there.
crypto. I like having a crypto
Yeah.
on the team that isn't me because I am trash at crypto.
I'm really
Because-
good at positioning my thing.
Yeah.
But I'm
Yeah, you
really bad
are.
at my ult. And I got really confused. I was really sick the other day and I was playing with Ashlyn and I was trying to shoot a drone. I saw a drone in the sky. I was like, oh my God.
Oh my
I
God,
need to
this
shoot
is so
this fucking
funny.
drone. You can fucking see I was sweating. And I got like shot after shot. And I'm like, oh my God, like, why aren't my shots hitting?
I'm literally watching him on screen like, Brad,
What are you doing?
what are you doing?
Yeah. I was like, I'm shooting down this drone, bitch.
I'm like, that's...
And then and then she was like, "That's your drone." I was like, "What?"
Our third was like, what the fuck with
What the
these
fuck?
two? Like,
And then because we made so much noise, well, because I made so much noise, a team killed us.
yeah.
Look, it's fine.
It's a special game. So
So
V, do you want to come play Apex? Remember how much you're missing out on?
She will once she gets her new parts and starts streaming.
This is
Will
true.
I? I don't know. I
Yeah.
think the thing, I like Apex as a game. I like watching people stream Apex. I am so fucking trash at it, and it just
Yeah.
frustrates me because I feel like
And
when
so
we,
are we.
well, but you're better than me. Like I feel like every time we play, I'm always like, oh, what about this thing? And just for some reason, my very fluffy e-girl brain cannot get the weapons down pat. I just never remember
Takes a
what goes with
while,
what.
Like,
Yeah.
It does take a while. I mean, it came out start of the year, and I'm
Yeah.
still shit. I'm still
Was it
really.
really
Yeah.
the start of the year?
Yeah.
Shit.
I think
Yeah, I
before
think
the
it's
start of the
gone-
year. I think it was November,
Yeah.
wasn't it?
Yeah. Okay.
Because it
Something
was
like that, for sure.
it came out before I moved, and I moved in November. So
Oh well, there you go.
Yeah, almost a year now. Yeah.
And I'm still level like 12 or some shit.
don't worry, we're like level 100 and still
Yeah.
trying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very true.
we get killed and get like you really do need a 3 team.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's hard when you've got
Yeah.
a random third and
Yeah. And
Yeah.
they're way better than you, and they're running away, and
Yeah. I was just saying, I like it when you have a third that's a pathfinder that just fucking carries you. That's great.
that's
literally.
ideal. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm really enjoying it. I'm not playing the Apex Halloween event. I'm just not into it. Not while the Overwatch event is on it.
Have you tried it yet though?
No, like I'm just not.
Dude,
I don't know.
it's fun.
Um,
Like, to be fair, actually playing it as it's intended, which is solo, is fucking terrifying.
Yeah,
And I'm not gonna lie, I've been doing it the sneaky way, which to be fair, I've seen streamers do it as well, where we've just been loading into the same game and sort of hanging out together because it's fucking terrifying otherwise. There's too many
Yeah.
scary sounds. Zombies are fast, but I do enjoy killing the shadow people because it's so satisfying and you get so many
Mm.
kills because they're like, 1 to 2 hit and they're out.
yeah.
And then even if you die, you get to play the shadow people, which is also fun.
I mean, I'd be into it. Yeah,
So is it-
okay, let's try it.
Is it like Vicious Circle? Like in terms of like if you die, you turn into like one of the
Yes.
people.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
Only up to a
cool.
certain point though. So like if you get to top 10, so obviously it's solo, you fight against legends and the zombie people. If you get killed up to the top 10, you turn into a shadow person. If you make
Yeah.
it into the top 10, you don't turn into a shadow person. So
Gotcha. Okay.
you've got to get to like the res ship after the top 10
Mm.
before a certain time, and obviously all the shadow people are like running at you, try and like fuck
Trying
you
to
up.
stop you.
If you're a shadow person, you just get respawned
Re!
constantly. Yeah. You get respawned
That's-
constantly, like if you get killed,
Yeah.
but you also have like half health. So you're like, yeah, like I said, like a 1 to 2 hit, 1 hit with a wingman sort of situation. But you are very fast. Like
That's
super
fucking cool.
fast.
I might come back and play that. I like
Oh,
that.
Yeah.
yes, I've got you guys on board. It is very fun. I do
You've
enjoy it. But yeah,
convinced
the
me.
sounds are terrifying. Like I played it once on my own and I was like, I'm jumping at everything.
Mm.
Well, because
This is scary.
that's what I really wanted to love about Vicious Circle, which is a Rooster Teeth game, but it died really quickly. Like you
Mm.
can find people to play with. But I love that kind of
Yeah.
like getting people back revenge shit in games.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's quite cool because when you die, yeah, you get to come back and like hunt them down. I
Okay.
did enjoy that, and it tells you when you've killed someone that killed you, and vice versa. Like,
Hey.
so you're like, oh yeah, so that's quite cool. I like that.
All right, Bradley, we're gonna play the Apex Halloween event at least
Yeah.
once.
Oh my god. Wait, should we stream it because of how
Sure.
terrified I am?
Can
Yes.
we?
I
Yes.
think we should.
You should have
Um,
jump scare tips on. Like
yeah.
one of the streamers I watch, One Shot Girl, she had that on while she's playing this hunting the Bigfoot game, and
Mm.
like her jump scares are on her tips, so like it makes a really loud noise, and every time she just fucking scream her head off. And
My
for every
God.
jump scare that she reacts to, she has to give away a sub. It's like she gives subs out at the end of the stream. It's quite cool.
Beautiful.
Whoever had their phone on, you're dead to me.
Oh,
And you know
fucking
who else is dead to me?
Ash,
You know who else is fucking dead to me? The guy who stood me up. Actually, the two guys who stood me up. Because I got
Fucking
stood up
rude.
twice. Yeah. So I was talking to this guy all week, right? I was
And
getting
he
really
was
excited.
cute. He
was
was
so
cute.
cute. He was so fucking cute. And yeah, he was hot. He was from Sydney.
Hot
He was
burning
down
trash.
for PAX. Yeah, exactly.
A literal dumpster fire.
Yeah. He was fucking hot. But he was distant and like, you know. Anyways, so he was meant to come down on Saturday. We're recording on the 21st, so whatever Saturday was before this. And he essentially didn't tell me no. He didn't say, hey, I'm not coming anymore. He was like, oh, I'll get there when I get there, essentially.
What?
And the
fucking hate
reason
that
he will
mindset.
get there when he gets there is because he went to a kink festival in Melbourne. Fine, don't care, didn't want to go. He didn't ask me if I wanted to go, may I add. You'd think that'd be a great place to take a first date.
Fuck yeah.
And essentially I haven't told you guys the rest of the story, but later that night I was like, hey, oh no, the next day I was like, hey, I didn't really want to speak on what happened yesterday because I felt like you might be nervous or whatever, because you know what happened. And I phrased it, I was like, hey, I tried not to speak yesterday. And he essentially sent me this like long thing. He was like, you tried not to speak? And I was like, he essentially made it out that I was like spamming him and blah, 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 blah. And like, yeah, okay.
Bye,
All
bitch.
right. He was like, I feel like I always have a notification from you and it's exhausting. And I'm like, that's exhausting. There are people starving in Africa, babe. Anyways,
Do you
know what's
You'd be
exhausting?
excited to have
Bye,
a
Felicia.
notification.
It's
But
exhausting trying to keep a house clean, trying to keep food. I waited until 9 o'clock to eat because I was going to cook for him. And like, that's exhausting. You know, deleting all my plans with everyone else to hopefully get some love because I'm lonely. And you know, being a douche about it. Like, I'm so sorry. I'm a good conversationalist, cuck.
So fucking rude. I can't believe someone would do that. Like, I don't know how anyone just
Yeah.
completely stands people up or just like even half whatever the fuck you would call your
Mm.
situation, like half ghosted almost. I don't know.
Yeah.
It was, yeah. And
I could have
yeah,
just been like, sorry, I'm not like keen, or
yeah,
like
sorry, I'm not
and just
coming.
lie and be
Yeah.
like, I'm not feeling well. I don't know.
Yeah. I'm
People
having a
try
bad
harder.
day. Yeah.
People should just do exactly what I do and just be brutally honest and shatter people's
Mm.
feelings completely. Because if you do it intentionally, at least they can go, well, he's a fucking asshole, as opposed to
Yeah.
being like, is it me? So to all the
Mm.
passive assholes out there, be a V, do me.
Just be an
be
asshole.
just be a straight out asshole.
Just be a vanilla regular asshole.
Yeah.
That's
But
it.
yeah, I kind of saw it coming when he was like, "Oh, like I don't like talking about mental health. Like it's such a trendy thing."
People have romanticized mental health.
Oh, romanticized. I'm like, yeah, but I mean, yeah, but I'm diagnosed. It's not like
Yeah.
I'm pretending. He goes, I would never accuse you of pretend. I'm like, yeah, I just don't want to talk about it because it's so exhausting. Like, if you're being this exhausted by conversations, you need to get help. You are mentally ill. You need help.
I don't know. There's a difference
yeah.
between mad and bad, and he just sounds kind of bad,
Mm,
not mad.
Yeah, for sure.
yeah.
You also should have told him it's not romanticized, because one of the craziest bitches you know is aromantic. So
Sure. Yeah, that's my piece on why I was pissed off this week and why I need to start taking my medic. I mean, I needed to start taking my Medicare, but why I was pushed. And then again today, yesterday, I was going to see a guy, but that didn't work out. Like he was coming over, he was literally in the car, and I went in for a shower. I came back and he was like, "Hey, I'm gonna go to my brother's instead." I'm like, "Okay, you told me. That's good. That's okay." And then we've reorganized, but you told me this time. You know?
Yeah, it's better. Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like we just need to go back to the start, Bradley. We need to pick you a different class, one where you get a feat and you need to get luck. So that whenever this bad shit happens, you can just cast luck, re-roll, and get someone that isn't a fucking dickhead.
Trash fire, yeah. Yeah. Or I need to like up my career. I mean, or just like be born a wood elf, so I'm like stick thin, because that's all the gays want, honestly.
That's what we all
What's
want.
what gay men want.
Stick thin with like a huge thick cock. That's all gay guys want. And I'm allowed to say that because I'm gay.
As I say, I'm glad you corrected it, because I don't know what lesbians want. I find them to be confusing.
Yes. It depends. It depends. I think it depends, because a lot that I've met fall into like two camps. They're like the traditional lesbians, which are like very mask presenting, very, you know, they like that. They like sort of the power of it. And then there's like the ones that are like, oh, like I don't really identify as masc or femme. Like I'm just kind of like whatever. And there's sort of almost like a feud between them.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I've struggled really hard. I mean, like I've only really started coming out and like identifying as like bi or pan. I don't really care which label people use, but this year, and like I've always found it so difficult getting, you know, coming to terms with that label, because I've always found it really difficult to date women, because I just find the clickiness of it all, particularly in Perth.
Clickiness of it all.
I thought you said clit. I thought you said clit. I was like, I just find the clit. And I'm like, yeah, I mean, I suppose you would. You know where it is.
You'd be surprised. No. But yeah, like it is really difficult, and I know that, like, okay, so it's don't fucking stereotype the gay community unless you're like part of the gay community, and that can be as an ally, but like, you know, but like there are some stereos that are actually very true, and I struggle with them really hard as someone that is probably not of I mean my behaviors don't align with kind of the main stereotypes that are in that community. I found it so hard in Perth. And the flannel code, you go gay clubbing and the flannel code was all over the place. It's just people are difficult.
Yeah, it's just Perth all over.
Especially like country bumpkins. Like they're all wearing flannel, and it's like, who the fuck can I stick my fingers inside? Turns out everyone. Some just don't like it.
I was gonna wear my intersex flag for Pride this year, because we have a Pride march. I think it's end of this month in my town where I am. And I was like, I don't know if Albany is ready for this.
No, I don't think so either.
I don't know if backdoor WA is ready for an intersex flag without going up to me
I-
going, what does your dick vagina look like?
What does your hot dog bun look like?
Like a normal one,
yeah.
because intersex people don't all have, ambiguous genitalia. Fun fact.
We won the bid. Sydney won the bid for International Mardi Gras for 2023.
I saw. That's
What?
gonna be exciting. Yeah.
Yep. We won the bid 2023. So
gonna
all
be
the drag
interesting.
queens are going to be in town. All the celebs are going to be in town. It's going to be great.
Oh, so Bradley's going
time.
to Sydney.
Oh yeah.
I might
I'm
go
just going to
too.
go to Sydney, open my mouth, just let it happen.
Let's
so,
do Pride. Let's do Pride, Brad.
I taught my mum how to use Castbox so she can listen to this.
Oh,
Bad decision.
Hi,
Terrible
mommy.
choice.
She's a nurse. It's fine. But yeah, speaking of things that are happening soon, my birthday is very soon, the 6th of November, shortly after the Melbourne Cup, which I don't really want to talk about. V, you know the most. It is a very ambiguous, a very terrifying and disturbing topic. So if you wanna sort of take us down that road, because ambiguous and disturbing is kind of your thing.
The co-hostess with the mostest.
Yeah, exactly.
So for those in Australia, sorry, Dan from Denmark, there was a expose, I guess you would call it, using journalism language, on the racehorse industry in Australia. So we've kind of talked a little bit about the greyhound industry before, because Brad's familiar with that. And some of the stuff, so probably about 4 or 5 years ago, I think now, there was a massive thing on the greyhound industry, and that slowly kind of happened now with the horse racing industry in Australia. So basically, they gather statistics about racehorses and what happens to racehorses in Australia, and it's something like 1 or 3%. Don't quote me because I don't have the article in front of me, because I'm really bad at this.
It's also ambiguous statistics.
It is. So those statistics say that it's somewhere between 1 and 3%. I can't remember what the figure is, of horses will go to abattoirs upon leaving the racing industry, and pretty much everywhere else they're either rehomed or something, like might be euthanized, whatever. So basically the figure was that abattoirs is a very, very small portion. It's only, several hundred horses or something like that. Now, that is only what this expose did basically, was filming horses being sent to an abattoir, being treated horrendously, like being basically being told, like, oh, you're going to die, you piece of shit horse, and then being treated incredibly cruelly before they are obviously slaughtered. And I imagine most of the slaughtering is for dog food. So basically what had kind of come out of this is obviously the mistreatment, which was horrendous. But like, I think, I don't know many people that think of horse racing and go, oh, this is a industry where
friendly,
animals...
happy spot.
Yeah, there are some, most owners really great, but there is a small portion that cause a horrendous amount of damage that we've already talked about previously. So what's basically happened is there's also been now a bit more understanding of how they record the statistics. And basically the statistics, as Brad said, really, really skewed. So they only record horses whilst they're in the racing industry. So the second, so these horses that are going to abattoirs, most of them will not be recorded, because if there is a transaction in between, so they're rehomed and therefore exit out of the registration of the racing industry, they're not recorded.
If it's anything like greyhound racing, you re-register every year. It's not like one year. It's not like you do it once and it's forever. You can have a horse and then you just wait the year and then it's gone. It's not then registered.
Exactly.
Which I assume it's similar because they're the same company.
Yep. It's basically as soon as their registration lapses, whatever way that is, whether they're sold off, So there's all these horses going to abattoirs being treated horrendously. And this is only a couple of years after there were some really gruesome, horrible videos and images of horses being shot really inhumanely and slaughtered other ways, because obviously euthanasia, very, very expensive. So some farmers or racers who are doing high volumes don't I don't want to say don't care enough to spend the money, but don't think things through and don't think about the obviously humane treatment of the animal enough to realise, well, actually there needs to be a cost if I put this animal down. So
yeah, that hurts my soul.
And there needs to be some legit. I mean, as a vet nurse, you'd know. How
I mean, luckily
how
I don't really do
hard
horsey
and
stuff.
how expensive it is. Yeah.
yeah.
But yes, yeah, for sure. It's one of those things. Yeah, the actual drug itself is not on the cheap side. So yeah, and then you think about a horse and its size; it needs a lot. So
we had just as a side piece, we had a veterinarian who we went to in Cranbourne. That's where I used to live. Kind of farmy area, sort of, almost. Not really, but a bit. And we went to put a dog down. His name is Harry. He was 14 years old. And he just was like sick, would not get out of bed, wouldn't eat, wouldn't drink, horrible. And his partner, his co-partner, who lived in his run with him, who he was born with, died, and he was just not taking it well. He was really sluggish, slow, he was on the way out. And we took him there, and the guy was like, "Oh, we will do bulk deal. Like for one is 80, for bulk, it's 50 each. Bulk. Oof. If you need to, a bulk cull is $50 each. So, like, if that's any insight on how dodgy some of these people are, like it's fucked. Yeah,
I don't like that.
So no judgment, but it is if you're not too. I
mean, a little judgment.
A little bit judgment, but if you're not too triggered, you can find that on ABC, so the Australian Broadcasting Commission. Their show 7:30. They did one, basically, in the lead up to Melbourne Cup, the race that apparently stops the nation. So, if you're going to Melbourne Cup events on Melbourne Cup Day, which is the 4th of November or something, the Tuesday, whatever the Tuesday is, first Tuesday of November, just think about what you're doing. Keep in mind. Yeah. Think about what you're contributing to, and if you are happy with the decision you're making around being part of that cultural event. I think that was diplomatically put.
Yeah, we won't be mad. We'll just be disappointed.
We bullied Taylor Swift out of it.
We did.
I mean, look, and she heard it from us, and she has had her revenge. So, I heard from a close source that she did hear the podcast.
Yes.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
That close source is actually the FBI guy who lives in my monitor.
Well, can your FBI guy tell the guy, go arrest the guy that was being racist as fuck and giving me shit for calling him racist as fuck?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
I mean, it's not. I don't think it's illegal to be racist, is it?
Oh well, I mean, based on Trump, probably not. But
no.
So. Well, quickly, because I said I would tell this story, I'm going to tell a very bad rendition of this story, and then we'll move on to Fetish of the Week.
Fetish of the Week. Nope, sorry.
Nope, we'll do it in a second.
Not yet.
Not yet. Premature Fetish of the Weeking. So basically, to end on my rant, which is why I need
Hold your horses. Get it? Sorry.
Oh! No!
Fuck. Down clip.
It's going to be clipped for the start.
That's going to be clipped for the start.
Fuck!
Hell yeah. Okay, continue.
So I had someone this week, just while you're not being a dickhead about Melbourne Cup, don't be a dickhead about this either. I had someone use the N-word in conversation this week. That person is a white cis male who is hetero passing. I don't think he knows what his sexuality is, but he doesn't talk about being straight. So he has some layers of privilege, some layers of disadvantage. But either fucking way, he's white. Don't use the N-word if you're white. Also, he tried to quote Kanye, and he misquoted Kanye in his racism. He said the N-word is a gold digger. No, Kanye doesn't say that.
How that goes.
Don't be racist and don't disrespect Kanye lyrics, please.
You ain't messing with a broke to broke.
No.
Yes.
Yeah. He didn't even use Don't
he does in the original, but for the radio release.
He quoted it wrong. He put the N-word.
No, he put it at the beginning, yeah.
Yeah.
N-word, yeah. It doesn't, yeah. Ooh, well, big yikes. And then he fought you about it.
Then he fought me about it and told me that I broke his trust because I literally said, please do not use the N-word. It's racist.
She was like, what?
And then I got crucified. I broke the trust.
Yeah.
Do you know what breaks my trust?
Being
Using
a
the
piece of shit.
N-word when you're a white person.
Being a piece of
Racism.
shit. You know what breaks my trust? Being a piece of shit.
Yeah, that too.
Jesus.
No, 100% no. Look, get Kanye right. You know,
Yeah.
I mean, he doesn't love himself that much for no reason.
It was just multi-layered disrespect, honestly.
Yeah.
Just so
Speaking
many
of
layers.
multi-layered disrespect, let's move on to
Fetish of the week.
Yours. We random rolls, right? I think it
We
is.
random
3.99.
rolled.
what's the jizz, babes?
399 is.
$3.99, bitch.
I'm probably going to say this wrong because, you know, which is phygophilia. Are you ready for the spelling,
Is that
Ashlyn?
blood?
Yes, please.
No.
Please spell that
P-H-
one for me.
PHYGEPHILIA, which is arousal from being a fugitive.
Ooh.
On the run.
Interesting.
On the run, and it's running down your leg.
Oh God.
Wait, so
it's
it's
not coming up for Google.
yeah, neither is mine. Why? Come on, Google, get with the program.
Mm-hmm. So yes, arousal from being fugitive. I feel like this list keeps letting us down.
So does that
Yeah.
So is that like the same if other people are fugitives, or only if you are? Is it only like
Hmm.
you
Arousal
get
from
turned on if you're yourself?
So like Bonnie and
being
Clyde.
with, yeah.
So like just
Um,
being all in amongst it.
So basically,
To be
like you're
fair,
feeling
yeah.
a bit randy. You're kind of like, ooh, what's this feeling? So you duck down to Kmart, maybe go to the $2 section, stick
Gotta
something in
get
your
me some
pocket,
nail polish.
Yeah,
Fuck
yeah.
stick it in your pocket, then go to the public restrooms and.
That's not really a fugitive, though. A fugitive is someone who's being actively sought by the state. Not really.
Yeah, that's true. It's like how far
like the
are we
security
on the
guard.
spectrum of
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, how many people could have that? I mean, I suppose murderers would have it technically as they're fugitives.
Do you reckon Ted
technically.
Bundy had it? Do you reckon
Oh,
Ted Bundy was aroused by being a fugitive?
absolutely. But I think that was more so he was into he was like aroused by being smarter than people.
yeah, for
Yeah.
sure.
He loved intellectual dominance
Mm-hmm.
to the point where he got his degree in jail and exerted his intellectual dominance on the other prison inmates. Yeah, that was a big thing. I mean, plus it's a piece of shit.
Yeah.
You know,
Oh,
I
for
don't
sure.
think it was like it was getting away with it rather than running away from it.
Yeah.
True.
I think that was his big thing.
So, I mean, and would you think?
I think
I was going to say
it
like the mass
probably-
shooters in the
That's what I
US,
was
but
gonna
I don't
say,
know
yes.
about much about.
I think because being a fugitive is so narratively tied into our history, like we have Ned Kelly, the Americans have like Bonnie and Clyde, we have like the train gang, we have, you know, fugitives are seen as this like, oh, we smoke fancy pipes and we do that. It's seen as this like beautiful narrative and very exciting thing.
romanticized, huh?
Whereas in real life, it's sitting in a car hoping you don't get arrested by the police. I don't think it's quite as romantic as we're thinking.
Oh no, for sure.
Yeah, sitting in a
Yeah, I wonder
squat.
if it's more the like idea of it.
Yeah, I would say
Like,
that. Yeah.
you know, the kink of the idea of it, like, oh my gosh, how sexy would that be? Rather than like, I'm gonna go out and fucking steal $2
Yeah.
nail polish from Kmart and it's gonna
yeah,
make kicks, you know?
yeah.
It's just, it seems like a really long-winded way to get someone to put you in handcuffs. I'll be honest.
That's
yeah.
it. That's
Yeah.
what it is. There
Yeah.
it is. We found
Yeah, it's not only that; it's like you're being desired by so many people.
it. All of
Yeah.
them, the FBI.
Oh my god, they're all coming after me. Oh, they're all coming for me. Oh.
Oh my god.
Gross. Have you guys ever been okay? Now, actually, let's use this. Have you guys ever done theoretically a crime?
Theoretically, a crime.
Ever done a crime?
I mean,
Hearsay. It's all
theoretically,
hearsay, but have you ever
yes.
done a crime?
Yes.
I mean, theoretically today, really,
I've-
for you.
I've accidentally shoplifted once, and I felt so fucking guilty
Accidentally.
about
Yeah.
it, and I still
you-
get really anxious when I think
Yeah.
about it. Yeah,
Were you really a teenage girl if you didn't have a shoplifting phase? I mean,
I didn't.
I wasn't a teenage girl, but did I? No, I had my phase when I was quite young. I was like still like 5. They sent me
think
to
I
a
was, like-
maximum security prison. I stole a packet of Tic Tacs once.
oh my god, I did too.
Yeah.
Blood brothers.
Yeah, exactly
Fucking
right.
Tic Tacs.
I was in my mum's pram and I would just take shit off the racks and throw it underneath.
That's funny.
So I would just take shit as we were going through it, and like the candy is like, and this is the shop's fault. They have it down low for a reason.
Oh yeah.
I just yoinked it out and tossed it in the bottom. I was in Kmart in I don't remember. I think it was Cranbourne. But we took it, and later that night I was eating them, and my sister was like, "Where did you get those from? Mum didn't buy those." And I was like, "Yeah, she did. How else would I have them?" She's like, "You stole them. You stole them, didn't you?" I was like, I didn't really get what stealing was. I just
like,
thought like you
no.
took shit from a roomie, you took it home, and it was yours. Which
Like, what
you
is
know,
funny?
what 5-year-old has operative thinking at that
That's
point?
true.
You think,
Yeah.
you know,
That's
you
just
get that
sassy.
at like 8 or 9. I was like, obviously, like it's right here, stupid bitch. She was right. I was a thief. But I think that was the only time I stole from like a store. I think
Oh,
so.
you guys are both so good.
I used to.
No, I was just so scared.
yeah.
You've met my mother, and I bet you think she's all strawberries and cream, but she is a demon inside, and I would never have seen the light of day if I stole anything as a child.
Jesus.
Locked away and grounded forever.
Yeah, I so it wasn't stealing. It was more like a Robin Hood thing. I was Robin the Hood. I used to work for a company. I won't mention the name. They're assholes anyway. They fired me for no reason.
For stealing supplies?
No, right. So we would have to throw out the baked goods every day, right? We had a cabinet full of baked goods. It was like slices and like rolls and like beautiful shit. And so we had to put it in a trash bag, put it in the bin, right? And there was cameras everywhere. So I decided it would be better if I rehoused those products in my bag. And I just every day that I work, I just take baked goods home. It's grouse.
Well,
And my mom was like,
smart.
"Where are you getting these from? Where are you getting these from?" And I was like, "Work, obviously. Like we're meant to throw them out." She's like, "So you should throw them out." And I'm like, "Yeah, but hear me out. No."
But why
Yeah.
would you not be able to? Like, how is
But
that
like,
not like
yeah,
the perks of the
because
job?
it's like a food safety thing. It's a
No,
food
it's not. It's a
safety thing.
capitalism bullshit.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely, it's a capitalism bullshit thing. But they pose it as it's not safe. We don't want to be liable.
Yeah,
And
there's
it's like,
plenty.
well,
There is plenty of less greedy companies. Like Baker's Delight is a really good one in Western Australia. That at the end of the day, a lot of the franchises will donate their food to homeless shelters or to women's refuges or wherever.
Yeah, that's good.
It's meant to be like they don't do it. They don't let you do it because it makes you less aggressive with sales. So you're less likely because if you know you're getting the thing, you don't want to sell it.
Yeah,
True, but I mean, it's not like it's a fucking like
No.
store actually have sales targets. It's not like you're like, oh, you're getting a muffin. Do you want a fucking panini as well? Like, add
Do you
it
want a
on, fucking
panini,
upsell,
cunt? Do you want a fucking cunt?
fucking upsell that shit. Get your percentage commission in.
Where I live, fucking hell, where I work now, at the petrol station I work now, you do sell quite a bit, because you get 8 cents off per liter if you spend a certain amount of money on certain products. So I do find myself upselling quite a bit there, and like that's like you can't take any of that shit. Obviously, I've never actually taken anything from that work. Mainly because I don't really want it.
That's fair. Yeah.
Yeah. But that has a lot more sales. But where I was before, it was like, would you like to pay? Would you like receipt? And like that was it. Like the customers didn't talk to us. We didn't talk to them. It was a pretty good relationship.
Sounds like my dream job. Yeah.
Also, they're an evil empire, and they treated you like shit.
They did. They fired me for no fucking reason. So they have a policy where you can't let anyone in after I think it's 11, right?
Yeah.
And this guy was smoking weed in the forecourt Not allowed to do. He had his windows up, so technically you're allowed. Well, no, right. I couldn't see it. I knew he was doing something. I couldn't see it, so I had to allow him to be there, is what I mean.
Right, yeah.
Because it's not loitering technically, because he was technically on public property. But he then I served a guy who came in, and it was fine. And then another guy got hurt. He was in a huge hailstorm, came in. It was this older guy. And then he had a skin tear on his head. So I gave him a Band-Aid. And because I saw it happen, because a huge hail ball hit him in the fucking head as he was walking. And we're not allowed to let anyone in the store. And so I did that. I let him in. I put the Band-Aid on him, and then he left. And then another customer came up, and the stoner from across the courtyard started banging on the walls and, "Oh, you let that guy in? That's fucked. That's fucked. You're not meant to do that." And I was like, okay. I was like 17 at that point. I just don't give a shit. And he tried to start breaking in, so I called the cops, and I got in trouble. That guy got to drive away high as a fucking kite. That's how good the police were, because Melbourne police aren't shit, apparently. And he tried to break into a truck that was there, and they didn't do anything. They didn't, they're shit. But yeah, I got fired because, and I shouldn't have, but I put it on the report that I let someone in, because I was like, oh, if I'm honest, they'll be lenient. No. And I shouldn't have, because we didn't even have cameras up, because our camera system was broken. So I gave away my job.
Fuck.
Yeah.
You should have asked to speak to their manager.
Okay,
Fucking
Karen.
rude.
Anyways.
Wrapping it back. That was our finish of the week after a roundabout fucking discussion about it.
Fetish. I was a fugitive. Ooh.
So we've been going for like an hour. I feel like our two listeners might want us to wrap
shut
this
the fuck
up.
Shut the fuck up, bitch. So we will be back next Wednesday. Welcome to the Wednesday. Every hump day to get you over the hump. And I guess you'll have to get used to it, bitch.
Bye.
Bye.